I'm just going to get my saw. Now you can see I have another piece in here of cottonwood that I gathered earlier today. I will hopefully not have to use that, but if I do, I will tell you guys. But I probably won't. I just didn't know if I'm going to have enough cottonwood down here that will work, and so I brought some extra just in case. But it's still not processed into a drill yet. So I'm thinking maybe here to here. Yeah, that'll work perfectly as a drill. I like to make sure that my cottonwood that I use still has the bark on. That means that it's pretty fresh. Otherwise, it might be a little bit rotted because around where I am, it's really wet and cottonwood will rot very quickly. And so I have to be careful about it. And I'll be using the bark as my tinder bundle. Now I'm actually going to stick that in my pocket. And that'll probably be my hearthboard. I'll split that into sections and that'll work perfectly fine. And so we're going to move over here. So this is about the only time I would ever practically, realistically baton with a knife. I mean, I really just don't do it. I do it for reviews and stuff, but I really don't baton with a knife all that much. And it's just not needed, I don't think. But this is a good way. I like to baton with a knife. It's broken.
Okay.
Okay. That'll do for now. I'll mess with that later. But now I'm just going to take off one side. And all this bark I have right here will be great for tinder. And I'll keep some of that. So I'm just going to carve this up now. This will be my spindle. Both of these are cottonwood. Cottonwood is a great wood, but you kind of have to worry about what condition it is in, because it will rot pretty quickly. So you have to know what it looks like and the characteristics of it when it's good for a bow drill and when it's not. So I'm just going to try and get this bark off so I can save it, but it's not that big a deal. There's plenty behind me. Yeah, I'll just grab some more behind me. Even some right here. So this is an example of a bow drill set that I made a long time ago and used. This is my drill that I've recently carved. I have not used this drill yet, but as you can see, I've had nothing but success except for right here on this bow drill. And that's kind of what I'm looking for. And then this is a handhold, it goes on top. You gotta be very slow and methodical about this. I mean, I've done this probably 20 times now, carved 20 different drills, if not more. And so I can go a little bit quicker with it. But you want to be really slow and methodical about it if you want to get it perfect. And you do want it as perfect as possible. And that's about good. I'm just going to kind of round it off, because you want it fairly round, I think. But what's more important is just making it even. and thickness. Just make it about even. And I'm going to come up here, and I want the part that's going to be touching the hearthboard to be perfectly round, just so that it doesn't drag when it's not supposed to. But you do want friction, just not from it not being round. You don't want a square spindle. You want it round. Now I'm just going to kind of chamfer this off. Being careful not to stab my cameraman. Just kind of chamfer it off.
No, go ahead.
I was.
Oh, okay.
Just give him a here. And then I kind of want the center to be the highest part so that it sticks into the board real good, the notch that I'll cut. So I'm just going to be quite slow about this, just taking my time, because it'll be worth it. Because if you don't take your time, you might not get a coal. And then you have to spend even more time redoing it, and that's not worth it. And how you exactly want to carve the bottom of it is perfectly up to you. Everybody has their own preference. I think that'll be perfectly fine. And then I'm going to take this back, come about 2 to 3 inches down, and then start carving it fairly thin, actually. Because that will be in my handhold that I'll gather later. I will be using a natural handhold, not a metal one. At first, let's see if I can get it. If I can't, I'll move to a man-made handhold. I left this fairly tall because it will burn out. And then that's about my spindle. That's about my hearthboard. I'm gonna, work on this for a little while, but kind of just flatten it out. And no, it doesn't have to be perfect. All it has to do is work. But I think the better it looks, the more perfect it looks, the better it will perform. My opinion. I'm not a teacher. Just my opinion. So all I'm going to do is move my spindle and hearthboard into my bag. And then take all of this bark I have, which is more than I need. Move that into my backpack. And there we are. I'm actually going to cut that about here because I don't want a very heavy bow. The heavier it is, the sloppier you're going to be, I think. So I'm just going to cut some length off this to lighten it up. Because you want it as lightweight as possible. And there we are. So that's my bow. And now I just need a handhold, which I'll grab out of a hardwood, hopefully something green. There we go. That'll work fine. Yeah. And with the other stuff, this greenwood, vine maple handhold will go in here. That'll work just fine. I'll put my bow in there. So I don't think I'll have to use the cottonwood, that little bit that I gathered earlier today. I'll just use what I got on camera. But everything, if I have to use this piece right here, I did gather it earlier today. I just, brought it just in case. But I don't think I'll have to use it. So. So we're just in the forest right now, and we're gonna get the bow drill fire started. I decided not to actually make a fire you know, blow it into flame. I'm just gonna get a coal and show you guys that. I mean, once you get a coal, it's fairly easy to get it, blow into flame, and if you guys want to see that, watch my other bow drill videos, because I did it in that. But we're just gonna get a bow drill coal, because it's so dry out here, you know, it's kind of dangerous to get actual fire started, so it's not worth it. So, yeah, and for cordage, I'm using my shoelace, because I use paracord for shoelaces. Just gonna string this bow real quick. I don't like to tie any fancy knots because I want to be able to undo it and tighten it real quick when I need it. So we tried this yesterday and we had a lot of technical difficulties, and so I already got a coal. You can see right there, and I used a spindle. Spindle's a lot shorter because I used it, but that actually worked when I got a coal. We're gonna have to redo that because we had a lot of technical difficulties. So tomorrow's the next day. Same wood that I gathered yesterday, all of that's the same. It's just, you know, a new day, and that's the only difference. I'm just gonna flatten this board out a little bit. Okay, now I just cut a divot right there, and that's what I'm gonna burn into, and then I'll cut my notch and then burn into that. So let's carve this out with my knife real quick. Just carved it out like that. That's just what that's gonna ride in. So let's get this started. I'm still gonna use the same handhold, which will go on the top of the spindle. You can see it's already been used. That was from yesterday. Don't have the footage, I'm sorry about that, but anyway, life goes on. New day, and it'll work the same, hopefully. I'm gonna take this shoe off actually, because it's incredibly hot. Yeah. The bow drill divot is holding up crazy well. That's working awesome. Wow. Ow, moss hurts. Okay, now I'm just gonna cut my notch. Some moss here. And my knife. Just go as slow and methodical. Don't cut yourself or stab your cameraman. Okay, so I'm just looking for like a pie shape. That's not the best notch I've ever done, but it'll work. And you just got that right there. There are bugs everywhere. But there we go, that's my notch. And then I'll get some leaves to catch it. And if your string has loosened, which it usually does, you're going to want to tighten that up again. Oh, almost forgot. I'm just going to cut the black stuff off this, just so we get as much friction as possible, because that's how you're going to get your coal, is by friction. Friction. I said friction.
Hmm?
Said friction.
Okay.
Now, that'll stay up there. I'm gonna pop this bad boy in. Hear that creak? want. Get your knee on a good patch of sand. Get it all out of the middle of your toes. Place your foot down there. Place the top on there. Make sure everything's good. Start off real slow. Increase speed as you see smoke. Make sure the camera's rolling. It is. I was joking. Make sure not to burn your bare foot. And that's it. My notch was horrible. Because you can see all this dust gathering around the outside. That is not what you want. I think my cold just went out. Which it will do. Okay. Had a cold and it went out. Okay, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Can I get some of that water?
Sure.
Yeah, let's grab it. You gotta stay hydrated.
Where's your water?
It's in my bag, I'm just too lazy. Why do you think I give you water?
I don't know.
Just so I can steal it from you.
Okay. Sounds good.
Whew. Hard part's over. I mean, you're just gonna fail sometimes, and I do it quite often. That's kind of how life works. Okay. You can see that coal? How the smoke is coming? It's because I got a coal. You gotta be very careful with it. Wow. See that red? Can you zoom in on that? The red? I'll shade it. You got that?
Yeah.
Whew. Okay. Keep that rolling for a second. So that once it develops a little more. You rolling?
Yep.
Okay. So, same set as I made yesterday. I just did this yesterday, and so it was used right here. But same stuff, it didn't dry out any because it was already incredibly dry. It's probably 80 something degrees out here, and it was a little bit cooler yesterday. But same stuff, just one day later. Whew, it's tough. But I've proven I can do it, and a hardwood is what you want. You can use softwood for this, the top piece, but hardwood is the best that I found. That I have found. Whew. Don't need a fire. Whew. There's a bunch of sand. Wow. So I really do appreciate you guys tuning into my channel. It's much appreciated. It helps. Man. That was tough, but it's worth it. And you know, I'm always gonna have cordage on me. That's why I don't really get into the whole natural cordage thing. I mean, I will in the future, just not right now. And I'll probably do a whole new bow drill video using natural cordage. But if I have my shoes on, which I usually do, I'm gonna have paracord. If I have my knife, I'm gonna have paracord. If I have a keychain, I'm gonna have paracord. If I have my bracelet on, I'm gonna have paracord. And so, that whole natural cordage thing, I'm just not into it as most people are, but that's fine. I think I like paracord. So there's that. Show you that bow drill set one more time. That's the first socket I got yesterday. That's the second one. And top hold. You can see how much that burned down. And it didn't go too far into that. And then you got your bow, of course. We'll make that the thumbnail or something. Yeah, that was very fun. Incredibly fun, actually. I would implore you guys to try it. And we'll see you all next time in the next video, which will be out soon. I promise. See ya.